Hey everybody, we have a new screencast lecture for you tonight. Tonight we are going to be talking about measuring mass, an introduction on the whole concept of mass and mass units, etc. Ready?
Yes.
Alright, let's do this. Okay, the first thing we want to do is just take a look at some neat pictures. Here you see the pumpkins. Now these look totally fake, but apparently they're real. It is a record-setting pumpkin that weighed over 2,000 pounds. Pretty amazing. Here's our first definition. Now, mass is the amount of matter found in an object. And we could talk about volume. A lot of times people confuse volume and mass. Well, volume is the amount of space that an object occupies. Mass is the matter that's in the object, the actual physical particles, the physical, tangible part of the matter is mass. That's the amount of mass. Now, in the most simple way to think about this, if you increase the amount of matter or the amount of stuff, then you're going to increase the amount of matter. So if I have 2 bricks, then I add another brick, well, there's more stuff, there's more bricks, there's more matter. I have increased the mass of the amount of bricks. Wow, that's new. So here's one I want to have you think about. What would be some items if you went to the store? What would you purchase by mass? Now, volume, we talked about you might want to purchase by volume. You're going to purchase things like soda pop, like you buy 12 fluid ounces of Coke. You might buy liquid medicines like cough syrup and volume, things like that. Some solid items we talked about. You might buy firewood or you might buy mulch. Those would be things you could buy by volume. Let's think about things you might buy by mass. Can you think of anything that you would buy by weight? You go to the store and you say, I would like to have 3 pounds of this. What could you think of that would do that? Say it in the microphone.
3 bricks.
You're going to go to the grocery store and buy 3 bricks. Okay. Yum. Don't invite me over to eat at your house. Anyway, so here are some things that you might want to consider buying by weight or by mass. Like, for example, any type of solid foods. If you look on packages, you'll see here, like net weight 1 pound, net weight, 16 ounces, which is a pound, et cetera, et cetera. Twinkies, potato chips, you name it. All kinds of good stuff.
Ooh, I love this.
What is this? Yes, ground beef. You normally would go to the store and buy meat by the pound. So, like, you wouldn't go to the store and say, hey, I would like 6 liters of steak. All right, that'd be kind of gross. Maybe if you blend it up in a blender and you liquefy it, that sounds disgusting. But you would often buy steak or ground beef by weight, so like 3 pounds of ground beef. Yuck. Hardware. This is kind of a weird one, but if you go to the store and you buy nails or screws, you would look at the box and they don't sit around and count out, there's 2,000 nails in this box. They're going to sell it by weight. Like, for example, you might buy 5 pounds of nails. And then last time we talked about volume, we talked about liquid medicines. Now we're going to talk about solid medicines. If you look at these capsules, these say Tylenol 500, and that 500 is referring to milligrams. That's the amount of mass of medicine in these tablets. Remember, you're not allowed to be distracting, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Bayer aspirin baby tablets, 81 milligrams. That is a very common standard amount of medicine for baby aspirin, and a lot of people will take baby aspirin if they have heart problems or high blood pressure. So adults will very often take baby aspirin. That may sound weird to you. Maybe you'll take a baby aspirin on a daily basis to help maintain your blood pressure or things like that. Units of mass. Now, we talked about units of volume. We had things like the milliliter, the cubic centimeter, the liter. When we talked about units of length, we had things like meter, centimeter, millimeter. Now we're going to look for units of mass. Here are some units of mass. Now, the ones that are starred, those are ones I'm going to expect you to know. You don't need to memorize or know the other ones, but it's not a bad idea to be a little bit familiar with them, just to actually, add to some things that you may know about. Now, when we come back together in class, I'm going to let everybody get a feel of what a kilogram weight feels like. We'll compare that to some pounds weights and things like that to get a feel of what a kilogram feels like versus a pound. We are much more used to using pounds. I know I am. If somebody asks me how much I weigh, I'll give them their weight, my weight in pounds. I'm not going to normally give them my weight in kilograms. It would take me some time to think, oh, what is it? I got to calculate, da 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 da. It doesn't come very natural into me, but it does come very natural for me to talk about how much I weigh in pounds. So the SI unit of kilogram, that's abbreviated kg. That's something you should know. The ton, notice it's spelled kind of weird. TONNE. It's kind of like a British way to spell it. Is 1,000 kilograms. Often in the United States, we'll call that a metric ton. That's 1,000 kilograms. And then the other units that much more commonly used would be the gram, kilogram, and milligram. The milligram is often used in medicine, so if we've already talked about the unit for abbreviation for gram is going to be G, the abbreviation for kilogram is kg, and milligram is mg. Pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now, carats. There was one on the last screen that was mentioned was carats. What do you think is measured in carats?
Right.
What? Bricks.
No, 2.
Okay, well, let's see. Carats commonly will be used to measure diamonds. That's a big one. Like, for example, this is a 15-carat diamond ring. That would be extremely big, much bigger than most people are going to normally have, and is going to be extremely expensive. Somebody has a 1-carat diamond ring. That's considered pretty big. Another one that was on that list was the troy ounce. That sounds a little bit weird. Now, a troy ounce is going to be used to measure certain precious metals, especially in this case, gold. So you can see here, this is 1 troy ounce of gold. Common SI units, the kilogram. Here's one that I'm going to definitely expect you to know and be very familiar with, the kilogram. 1,000 grams equals a kilogram. The prefix kilo means 1,000. 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams. So if we have 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams, 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, that means that if you do the math, 1,000 times 1,000, it is 1 million milligrams per kilogram. Not something I'm going to expect you to know, but if you're one of those math types, you might be able to do that pretty easily and find that extraordinarily fascinating. Do you find that extraordinarily fascinating?
No.
What? No. Yes, is what he said. He must have stuttered there. Yes, he finds that extraordinarily satisfying and interesting. Now, here's definitely, make sure you have this in your notes. 1 kilogram is approximately twice as heavy or twice as massive as 1 pound. So 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. If you want to get really technical, it's 2.2046 pounds. Not going to expect you to know this. However, I would expect you to know that 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. So if I have 1 kilogram, it's about twice as heavy, so around 2 pounds, a little bit more than 2 pounds. One way to think about this is think about McDonald's. And if we have 4 quarter pounders of meat, that would be 1 pound of meat. So how many quarter pounders would be in 1 kilogram of meat? Well, you're going to have about 9 of them. So 9 quarter pounders is equal to 1 kilogram. Take a look at this short video clip.
Mass is the measurement of an object's content. Basic metric unit of mass is the gram. A dollar bill, a raisin, or a paperclip each weigh roughly 1 gram. 1,000 grams make 1 kilogram, the most commonly used measure of mass or weight in the metric system. We can use kilograms to measure the mass of these young people. Weighs 33 kilograms, which is equivalent to a little more than 72 pounds. She weighs 26.5 kilograms, which is equivalent to a little more than 58 pounds. Very small mass can be measured in milligrams. A milligram is 1/1000th of a gram, which means that each gram contains 1,000 milligrams. There are 1,000,000 milligrams in 1 kilogram. One small butterfly has a mass of roughly 500 milligrams.
Okay, we're back. Now, the definition of the kilogram. When the kilogram was first made, and it was something that was created by people, it was not some magical thing, a kilogram, all right, it was created by people, and they determined that 1 kilogram was going to be the mass of 1 liter of water. So if you remember before, we talked about a liter of water, that'd be 1,000 milliliters. So if you take 1,000 milliliters of water, and then you were to weigh that amount of water, it should be the weight of 1 kilogram. Now here you can see a liter is 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, so that'd be 10 times 10 is 100, 100 times 10 is 1,000, 1,000 cubic centimeters. Oh wow, that works. So 1,000 milliliters is 1 liter. See how that works? Pretty clever. Here's a picture of the official kilogram. Now this is locked up in a vault. I'm pretty sure it's in France. And this is the official kilogram. So somewhere there is the original official kilogram that everybody knows is the right kilogram. Why does that exist? Well, think about that for a second. The thing is that certain products are very, very valuable. Now, gold, everybody's heard of gold. Everybody knows gold's worth a pretty amount of money. 1 kilogram of gold is worth about $40,000. To me, that's a lot of money. To you, maybe not, but to me, that's a lot of money. So the idea is that if you say you have a kilogram of gold, everybody agrees that's a kilogram of gold. You can't say, hey, this is a kilogram of gold over here, but it's not as much as this kilogram of gold. I mean, that just causes confusion and causes a big problem. So you have to have these standard measurements. So, for example, even in Ohio, we have a Department of Weights and Measures. Why is it important for the state of Ohio to have a Department of Weights and Measures? If you have ever helped somebody else pump gasoline into a car, you may have noticed a sticker where it has like a weights and measures sticker. Now they have people who go around and they check and they make sure that gasoline pumps, for example, if it says it pumps out a gallon of gasoline, it is actually a gallon of gasoline. Because you can imagine somebody, if they're not real honest, they could have the gas pump tell you that you're getting a gallon of gasoline, but let's say you're only getting half a gallon of gasoline and you're paying for a whole gallon of gasoline, you're getting ripped off. So the idea is that you don't want that to happen. So there are people who watch that to make sure that people are being honest. And if you are buying a gallon of gasoline, you're actually getting a gallon of gasoline. What they'll do is they'll use this very precise measurement and they'll say, okay, this is exactly what in the state of Ohio, this is 5 gallons. And so they'll use the pump and they'll fill this up and they'll say, okay, well, that is correct. It says 5 gallons on the pump. It's 5 gallons according to our official gauge here. You're good to go. You get the stamp, hopefully, and you pass the test. Well, that's all, folks. Hope you learned a little bit about mass, and we'll see you next time, and we will talk about how to actually measure mass hands-on, measuring mass of solids and liquids. Say goodbye.
Be careful, kids. Bye.
See ya. That's great.